Well, hello. Here to show you the rainbow's memories. Rainbow memories. Railroad coloring right here is what you see right here is what I went ahead and colored so far is rainbows. Is so far as the memories so far as rainbow memories is that I went ahead and drew right here is a picture, and of course it's like that this picture is what I drew from what I had memorized in my memory back those several over 10 years ago, back in 1997 is whenever my dad and I went up drove up to that railway that there was a railroad crossing right up there at some location that I think it was it's like near a gas station or whatever you say. It was it may have been near a power plant or whatever, but basically the way I remember it is the way I got drawn, of course, is that my dad and I we would drive up to the railroad. I think it was, if I remember right, it was on a weekend. It was on a Friday night that whenever I was with him that before it was during the time that we were having dinner, and I remember that he was keeping track of time, which I remember that he was out barbecuing on the grill, and then he heard that we heard the train go by. And a lot of times the train would go by about every other day, something like that. Every day or every other day that it would pass through, which is say within about maybe 100 or so miles from I guess it was from Kansas State to St. Louis, Missouri, or whatever you call it. But we were looking track of time, and then we he looked at his watch, and he was saying it was 8 o'clock, and we'll need to remember that and go up there to the railroad track just to see if we can see a train go by. And for whatever reason, that was just one activity that I really wanted to participate in. So far as I never seen a train go by and a train pass by, and I was just like asked my dad many times if we can go and watch a train go by. And I guess you could say that we used to do that a lot of times with the airplanes too, that we used to go to the St. Louis airport to watch the planes land and stuff. But of course with the train right here, and so far with the rainbow, that I would probably say, since I colored this page right here, that since I don't have a picture to really explain about what I'm talking about, but I'll just use a coloring. But basically is what I look at it as is a lot of the memories that you do have that you may not have a whole lot of, just say, of evidence as so far as proof of about where you were and then what year it was or whatever, that whenever you went on that trip or whatever, that event. But of course there's always if you were to draw it out, that some of it may not even make any sense either. But of course the way I had this drawn was, you got the railroad right here, railroad crossing, and then right here is you get the turns, and you got the railroad turns. You go ahead and put the crossings in there for railroad crossings, in which I'm sure that most of us would have our driver's license, that we would know that it's like for most vehicles is that you'd be about this far away from the railroad track before you cross, which most of them would probably say that they may be out of commission or whatever. But if you were to look at the railroad track, is that this train right here would be so far as will be traveling. I don't know if that will be south or east or whatever. If we of course memorizes wherever wherever that the train was headed at the time. But I'm going to say this, let's just say if it were going east, it would be traveling from Kansas State all the way through say Lake St. Louis or whatever, just to make a delivery of a freight or whatever. And say that the train will be traveling, and I remember my dad and I, when we would wave at the train whenever it would be passing by, and then you can hear the train going, boom, boom, and then you can hear the rail go, and you would hear the railing, and then the train would go by, and then we would wave our hand like this until it was done passing. And the way I think about it is that was like an activity that, of course, that we participated in. So far as knowing about whenever the train were to go by, that I remember that what I said was after the train went by is that nice meeting you. But after that, of course, is that since I don't really have any picture of the details from, of course, what I saw back then, but of course I can also look at it as a rainbow memory. And the reason why I picked, of course, that title was, of course, is that so far with the artwork is that basically the variety of colors that I have available to work with, just to talk about so far as the best of my memories. You got the rainbow right there, and so far if there was a pot of gold at the end of a rainbow, well, it would probably pretty much mean that if it matched exactly from what other people remember. What do other people remember is like, I remember that time, and it was terrific. But so far with the rainbow memories, and then your rainbow memories of RailRoad, and then you got right here, you got the pickup truck, where my dad and I we were parked. Say the parking lot would be about a few feet away from the railroad track. But so far as to know about is the perfect around that time for whenever we went up there. It was about June, and I would probably say if I could pick a date, more likely it was probably about June 5th, 1997, right about the weekend. But so far with rainbow memories and railroad color.